Hello everyone, this is Yours Trivia. Welcome back to our Subscriber Game Tournament Season 2, as we continue with our Round 2 matchup here in Group 7 between Yulia in the green and Trevinicus in the red. So for this first match, Yulia will be defending with Wen Chou, Zhang Liao, and Yan Baihu. Now the purpose of Wen Chou here is to provide his roar, and the hamstring ability can be used to clear infantry if he's dismounted. And Zhang Liao is here to provide his Resolve of the Righteous passive for the defensive side with the weaker army, which will give all his units and generals additional melee evasion and attack speed. Very useful. And finally, Yan Baihu is trying to be sneaky with his Poison Volley in stock, but unfortunately Trevinicus is actually bringing Guojia, so that plan will be foiled, but Poison Volley is still very good. Now looking at the unit choices here, we have 2 unit of the Yan Vanguard Spearmen, which I'm not a huge fan of because the crossbow in the square formation doesn't really pan out and the range is only 160, so it's a little bit lacking, especially recruited on a champion means not that many ammo. And their combat capability is just that of a spearman, so we'll see how they do. Then for Zhang Liao, we have Qingzhou units across the board, one with shield and the rest with the high damage Zi. I quite like this, I think you'll get tremendous value from the Qingzhou unit. Then lastly on Yan Baihu, we have 2 Bandit Raider Cavalry, hopefully used to suicide into key targets. And we have 1 Defender of Earth for oil arrows on defense, which is interesting, because it does provide suppression fire, which kills charge, and also can help defeat turtle formations by bombing down on them. So maybe it will be quite useful here. We'll see how it's utilized. Then for attack, we have Trevinicus bringing in Sun Ce, Guojia, and Xu Huang, and quite a big army. 6 unit of the Qingzhou Assault Infantry on Xu Huang, good damage with a shield to block a little bit of enemy range. We have 3 crossbowmen on Guojia, 1 Defender of Earth for that oil arrow against tower, very crucial. And we also have a leveled up Trebuchet, so he's going to be fine with accuracy. Then looking at Sun Ce, we have 2 Tiger Guards and 2 Lance Cavalry. So usually I'm quite against Tiger Guards on land battles, but for this occasion, they are playing double duty. They can be the turtle formation to grab aggro from the towers, and also once they advance into the cities, they're likely to be in the front alongside the generals as you slowly advance in the street, and you can provide that guard passive and a nice front line for the rest of your unit. So I actually quite like them here, better than the handmade guard. But the battle has to be played out on the battlefield, so let's hop into the deployment and see how it plays out. So, looking at the deployment here, we have Yan Baihu alone outside. He's exposed. As the defensive side, you can see the generals outside, so Yulia knows that Guojia is there. Therefore, all the cavalry and the Defender of Earth, which is trying to be sneaky by being a stock unit, is hiding inside. Now, perhaps the cavalry can be placed across in a, far away area to catch them by surprise, just using pure distance as sort of a stock maneuver. But Guojia actually has quite a far foresight, so maybe you can't get away with that. You have to just rely on the inattentiveness of your opponent. So maybe hiding them in the city for now would work. In terms of barricade placement, I like how there's no barricade here and here. Allow more flexibility for Yulia's troops to move around. Well, these are blocked to limit other access points, so at least Yulia can control where the enemy are coming from, and their unit blocking these locations up. Yan Baihu no doubt going for an early Poison Volley, and we'll see what Trevinicus can do about that, because there's not many things you can do to stop that. Certainly you can run your generals at him, but with the towers so close, there's not a lot of room for chasing. And there is that 1 cavalry on this side. It's much more visible. That's why I thought maybe that other side would have worked better, but still a nice attempt at trying to suicide a cavalry perhaps to take out a potential siege target, even though it's being protected very, very well across the board with units all around the trebuchet. There's no opening here. So let's see how this plays out. Xu Huang responding quite early. Ooh, very, very far away poison volley. That's fine. It's not like Hail of Arrows. You don't have to actually land the arrow damage. You just want to scratch the unit. Every unit you scratch will lose a good chunk of their units. And actually at this distance, there's value on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. That's not bad. And now Yanbaihu's pulling away. The cavalry's moving, but spotted out here. Maybe they should pull back. Time to run away. Well, the wall's gonna crack soon. The general should come back him up. Oh, are they gonna go in with the gate? Or are they gonna get blocked by the gate? They're gonna get blocked by the gate. Sometime it bugs out. And, oh, like maybe here. Can he still come out? He's in. I mean, it makes sense. He followed his way in. Now he's been told to move out, so now there's a gap, so he is moving out. And that makes a lot of sense too. It's going to be hard to push the Tiger unit up because the Tiger Guard has to do the turtle to tank. Oh, a second volley at max distance. Just getting a good amount of damage on these frontline units. As you can see, the crossbowmen already kind of dying off due to 2 volleys. And this one might be routing soon as well. The general's trying to use the roar. That would work. Now one of the cavalry need to be pursuing. Oh, he's going to route back into the city. So he's fine. You can't really chase that. So that's 1 roar down from Sun Ce. And we just have to wait till the duration of the roar to end and the unit will be fine. As though nothing has happened. The turtle formations are starting to move. Now let's see if Yanbaihu can get 2 more shots. It's very awkward because they have to babysit the turtle formation essentially, and they have to stand in this arrow tower and kind of just zigzag their way to try to avoid as much damage as they can. Looks like 2k health lost and 3k health lost so far. Not too bad. We're trying to get max value from these poison arrows. They will do great against turtle formation as well, so... Ooh. They didn't move, they're taking damage. They need to move. We lost another 2k and another 1k here. So, escort for the poison volley. Just hitting the tiger will be fine. He's trying to get an angle on there, but there might not be enough time. Alright, we're just firing here. Perfect. That's a scratch. This one didn't get scratched, but plenty of units on those shots, definitely worth it. My question is, none of these generals are unbreakable. That second roar might get a lot of value here. They're higher than 50, so maybe not. Yanbaihu is only 1 weaker. So there's 1 roar traded back, just to give Sun Ce some thought. It's only 30 points for the roar on Vengeful, so not going to be enough to bring him down, but just to scare him off a little bit. Now this Defender of Earth, even though it's badly damaged, will have enough damage to burn down the tower. So it'll be totally fine. There's 1 more volley left. Let's see if they can pull that last one off. This is going down. You can see just a couple arrows, instant 100%. This is the tower with the most value because you actually can shoot inside because it's a corner tower. So let's bring that down. Yanbaihu's coming out, trying to stall that unit. It's still worth trying to kill this. Yeah, the generals are going for it. Oh, just trying to get max value here. Yeah, maybe this will turn out to be a bad trade just because they can't really get a clean hit on that. The cavalry should be trying to sneak right now. Because if this unit goes down, then the interior towers are safe. They would have to use Trebuchet to do most of that. Ooh, Zhang Nao's not getting out. He's very slow. 80 speed. Oh, dodge that at least. Dodge both. 2 Flame of Phoenix avoided. And we're backing off. We got some oil arrows in response to do what? Generals? Wow. Just fire well. Alright, here comes the units. Perhaps it's time to retreat to the second line and wait for overextension. And then the cavalry might be able to do a bit. Well, all 4 poison volley have been used, so tremendous damage have been done. Half size for both of these. One of the crossbowmen is already gone, this one's nearly gone, and this one only has about 2/3 of the group left. Not a bad outcome. Now we're pulling back to the second line. The cavalry have to stay to babysit the trebuchet, but the trebuchet has to move eventually, or else it's not going to get a lot of use here. It needs to be pushed up in, and maybe that's when the opportunity hits. This cavalry still being saved over here. I would create another angle on this side. Alright, the cavalry is getting called in, but as you can see, different units at different speeds, so... Okay, they're quite alert that they have to stay pretty close to this to counter any charge. Unfortunately, the oil arrow had to leave, or else this would have been a pretty good time to hit them, all clumped up here in this gap. The cavalry has gone out, but they're babysitting, so... Well, the good news is the bridge will be another point of attack for the oil arrows, depending on if the crossbow unit could suppress it from approaching, because range difference obviously being a key factor. So the Ye Vanguard Spearmen with their crossbows lined up in the right direction, not in any weird formations, that's the right choice. Might not be the best guarding the bridge, but this street's already taken, so I guess it's fine. Maybe this unit should have been here, just to get more value from that crossbow. Now the bad habit of Qingzhou units lighting things on fire might hurt the morale and trigger the misplaced devotion a little bit too quickly. I mean, the fact that 1 cavalry can stall 2 plus the trebuchet, definitely tremendous value. Now it's about the infantry fight, right? Yulia's trying to move this out to get more value from the crossbow on it, because it seems like the attacks are all going to come from this area and get some extra shots. For paying 1,000 per unit, the crossbow better do something, or else it's just a spear guard. Well, we'll see when action actually starts. Someone has to move, aka the attacker. Ooh, we're opening up a flank angle. This might backfire, because the generals could just target these units individually. Nothing is fast enough to actually go help them. So they could get picked on and picked off by isolating themselves here. Your generals are sort of the, sphere of protection for all your units from abilities such as Flame the Phoenix. If you isolate them too far out, then just Xu Huang going there to slam would be quite a bit of damage. And there is no overlapping towers to save you there. We're still posturing. No side really want to make a move. Technically the crossbow can move up because they do have a range advantage and could pick on these units. But it doesn't seem like Trevenicus want to make that move. I mean, perhaps because his crossbow is badly damaged. Okay, so we're advancing the cavalry here. Are the trebuchets trying to move through the gate? Wow, that physics. Look at that overhead. Well, Trevenicus will definitely be in a better position once the trebuchets are inside, because he would have good range advantage here, 17 shots left, and be better protected once it's inside, so... The other cavalry did make the long journey this way, but it's a little too late. The trebuchet is ready inside. I'm not sure what they could do at this point. They could just keep hovering behind and just threaten, because they don't control the gate anymore. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Crossbow gets some value. I think these cavalries are most likely doomed. They will probably bounce back after the initial rout if that's what happens. Alright, they pulled back. Trebuchet is going to work. We'll see which side blinks first. I mean, there's only so many shots. It's not that accurate against units, so I don't expect it to do that much damage. Settlement damage 8%, only causing 2 morale points. Not a big deal right now. Now, the units aren't unbreakable, so destroying the whole town and causing a 20-point morale hit is definitely a very viable strategy. We finally have some movement. The crossbow is being moved up. Yeah, so many units are needed for this setup, but I think the cavalry can leave now. Just a spear unit here will be fine. Oh, these are not spears! Right, the Qingzhou assault infantry trick. Holding a Ji, making it look like a polearm. Then keep maybe one of the tiger guards in the back? Right now it's just too much babysitting. Alright, you're getting almost an equal trade with the units being played on both sides. Now, would these units try to advance? A Qingzhou versus Qingzhou fight? Now, let's prove my point. I think the halberds are the best Qingzhou unit, and they will win even against the assault infantry, which typically win melee fight. Because if you look at the stats, especially right now, because Zhang Dao's making the battle unfair with the extra 25% melee evasion and 33% melee attack rate. So I would say they would win any melee fight right now. And I would actually take this fight. More attack rate. About 4% less evasion. Well, give or take the shield evasion as well, but it's not going to matter too much. We got a general fight? It's 2v3. I wouldn't take this fight. Especially, you have to fight away from your tiger guards. I mean, the only thing Trevenicus can do is slowly push up the range and use that to their advantage, because not many things are good against the range. Alright, the fighting is going to start. I favor Yulia's infantry here, for reasons stated before. Not that heavy of a loss, to be honest. Alright, misplaced devotion triggered by both sides, and the damage, you know, pretty big on both sides. We'll see who kills who. 90, 74, yep. So Yulia's units are definitely winning here. Running into crossbows, dangerous. Running into tiger guards, not a good idea. We're doing a roar stacking, I think is what they're trying to do. But with Guojia nearby, it's hard to pull off both roar stacks. Only one roar pulled off, and probably got too close to Guojia to do the second roar, which is what happened. Because you need to be in melee to use the Roar of the Beast. Now, Zhang Dao needs to pull out of damage so he can actually recover from the ability, which I think should be no problem, because it's hard to chase him with all these units around. Ooh, that trebuchet shot. That was a good trebuchet shot. Zhang Dao will be fine. Zhang Dao's ready to bounce back. Yanbai, who went to go help, probably didn't need to, as you can see. They were going to win that. This fight, this is kind of weird. Seems to be like a timing of when the misplaced devotion ended. They got the roar stack, or they just got enough damage. Now they could try the roar stack. They're fighting away from Guojia, so cavalry should charge. These are not polearm units. The cavalry's hunting Yanbaihu here. We can just exit the gate. They can't chase you because you own the gate. Dismount. We're going for the fight. Now, with Guojia still here, you can't use any abilities, and that does make it difficult. You cannot hamstring to kill these units. No one's really... Oh, they are getting targeted. There was a smoke screen usage, which was okay. Temporary, you know, invisibility. They need to take out Guo Jia here, I think. It'll make things a lot easier if they just target him right now. He walked far enough to do a roar, which didn't hit this infantry, unfortunately, because it would have routed otherwise. Yan Baihu wins out over here. Took a lot of health, but he did win the fight, which is a little surprising, to be honest. Alright, bomb arrow still coming down. I think not targeting Guo Jia here is a big mistake, because hamstring would just completely wreck this. Infantry piling up. This one's not being used. A little bit of a shame there. Guo Jia's getting hit. Guo Jia's getting hit. Yeah, that's all you really need. Now he's going to rout away. The roar combination could just beat most of the units here. I think the lack of dismount from Trivenicus... There we go. He realizes it. Not doing enough damage when mounted. The roar combination will get the units. Is he going to roar as well? Maybe it's not off cooldown? Because he roared earlier, so I don't know. Oh, there we go. Yeah, since they're two separate roars, they will stack on each other for about 48 points, which is decent. Xu Huang's too low. What happened over here? Sun Ce chased out and lost to Yan Baihu. Interesting. I mean, there was the cavalry situation, right? Cavalry's also helping chase the units that are routing off. And the kill happened here. Alright, we got Tiger Guard routing. Army loss kicked in. Surrender. Okay. Yeah, this was a pretty nice fight on both sides. Conservative players both didn't want to rush in and make mistake, which is great. For the attacking side, you had the range advantage. You didn't have to really rush, which was correct. For the defensive side, fighting into these Tiger Guard with generals and Guo Jia shutting on your abilities also wasn't smart. So holding back on both sides definitely worked out for both of them. And at the same time, they're also trying to open up new avenues of, you know, point of combat, which worked out better for Yulia just because Zhang Liao being a general to give that passive ability, I think made a small difference for the trade here that usually in a melee fight, the assault infantry would win because of the higher evasion stat, the shield evasion stat, and similar damage. I prefer the halberd because they can defend against cavalry. They get a damage bonus against cavalry as well. In this case, it evened out, and you can say Yulia came out ahead here. Yan Baihu did have to show up, but when he routed afterward, he traded two cavalries magically. I have no idea how he traded those two cavalries, but when he got out and routed off and Sun Ce tried to chase him, and he was able to bounce back and win that fight with some assistance from his cavalry that's been sitting here the whole match as sort of a back threat, just to force a few units to have to wait and not be able to join the fight. Definitely paid off. And they were being used the whole time. You can see them chasing off unit that were routing to make sure they don't bounce back. So definitely a great use of the unit. And overall, pretty clean match on both sides. So we'll see in the next matchup as they swap sides to see who will come out ahead. And let's look at some of the damages. So the generals, Yan Baihu with the poison volley early on, definitely lots of value. Because Trivenicus was so passive with the setup, which makes sense since he does have a range advantage, even though it was largely diminished by Yan Baihu's early volley on the crossbow, as this one didn't get to do anything and routed, and both of them were not healthy entering that last phase of the fight. The generals couldn't really go out and do much. There weren't that many openings. The only opening that was really there was the new front opened up on the other hallway, and Sun Ce didn't really go early to help clean up that infantry fight. It became just a unit versus unit fight, even though both generals are great unit killers with the Flame of Phoenix. We really didn't get to see that, which is, I guess, you can't have your general that optimized. Keeping them together for a potential general fight, especially when it's ready 2v3, is probably more important. The lack of dismount probably was a major issue. The earlier dismount for damage, taking out Guojia, and then be able to get some free hits on Xu Huang before he dismounted was pretty key. Even though Zhao Nao was sort of knocked out with morale, it still came out quite ahead. Yan Baihu really the MVP here, with both the early poison volleys and the fact that he was able to trade with both cavalry somehow, and then also bounce back enough to fight off Sun Ce, who was injured. He was not full health when he went, so it's not surprising to see a Vanguard drop a bit more health and start losing morale, especially with some assistance from these cavalry units. So overall, great match, and can't wait to see when they swap side. So until then, bye.